So one of the things I was really interested in was making photographs as part of this process. So asking people to take me on these tours and having this very embodied and experiential way of moving through their spaces. But I have also spent the last over 20 years arguing for the idea that photographs can be a way of knowing, can tell us things, and not just as data, but that creative work and art practice has a way of opening up kinds of dialogues and conversations that you might not be able to have in any other way. When I made the photographs, usually people would take me on tours and I would want to really be present with them. So I wasn't photographing on the tours themselves. I would go back to all the places that people had taken me to. So just in the going back on my own, that taught me something, which to see kind of even how different it felt when I wasn't with the person who had been my tour guide. But also to spend some time in their places and see like, well, how could I make a photo? And hearing their stories in my head of what they had told me about this place. Very often there were places I had been to before on my own, but maybe had just walked by. I didn't have any particular connection to them. So in going back, it was spending time in the place, reflecting on their stories, and then thinking about, well, how can I make a photograph that reflects the story that they told me, or reflects something about my understanding of this place, sort of informed by what they've told me. And then I would take those photographs and bring them back to the people I had interviewed. Here's what I like about that photograph, or like, oh, that's really strange. I've never seen a photograph of my supermarket, but it makes me think about X, Y, and Z. Those people's voices and their tours have lived in my head all that time I could really call up any number of those stories at any time. Doing work over that length of a time, a lot of these stories also were really important to me personally, that they shaped the way I thought about the world. Especially people's stories about kind of the way that they felt their sense of place really marked their sense of the ethics of the kind of the world they wanted to live in were very important to me.